Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we kept going with the Void Crusade and we will jump back into that. We now have to do this mission so that we can unlock this secret mission.
The enemy is here, preying on the weak and using craven tricks against the defenders of mankind. Perhaps we should find their leaders and give them a fair share of their own medicine.
If I was thinking, I would have put some tarot cards on this mission, but whatever. Mistake has been made. Can't undo it now. And it's been a couple weeks now since the Game Awards, but my prediction was right. We did get a release date for Space Marine. Not the best release date, but a 2023 window. Which I also really do understand. I would rather get an kind of open-ended window like that now than have them sit here and be like, oh, here's a exact date. Because every time we've gotten an exact date for games lately, they end up having to delay anyways. It's just kind of part of the zeitgeist of modern game design. You give a release date and you never stick to it. Does it suck? Yeah. But it's just what I've grown to expect from the industry, to the point where it's more shocking to have them actually stick to their release dates than to not. Plus, if anything, what will happen is we'll get another proper window. Like, they'll narrow it down probably anywhere from, I'll say, March to June. June because of E3, and March because that gives them a few months to get into 2023 and really plan out things. Nothing really new in terms of game footage was shown. It's the same old, same old. Some alpha footage. I saw people complaining about the camera looking really low to the ground, which, considering you could see gameplay footage of shooting and that was over the shoulder, it looks like it was just the camera was low to the ground because they wanted really full body kind of cinematic shots of using melee weapons. Which is neither here nor there. I understand that anything like that is just trailer stuff. They want to show off the entire body, they don't want to hide anything. So it's whatever. Saw a lot of people going, oh, well, where's the multiplayer gameplay? Which, to a degree, I get. Not having any multiplayer shown is a little bothersome, but I'm sticking by my previous prediction. We will probably have Tyranids be like the first wave of enemies, and then it'll be chaos. Simply because then it's easier to do multiplayer stuff because you already have the models and everything made, or at least a rough idea. And Tyranids as the whole game would be kind of boring. It's kind of like Dawn of War 2. Dawn of War 2, they're like, oh, it's the Tyranids, oh, it's so bad. And then as the story progresses, I mean, that's including the DLC and stuff, but the story progresses and it's like, oh, hey, it's chaos again. And it's fine. You have to mix up your enemy variety. And it's not like 40K is really... they're not sitting with like a sparse amount of enemies. They can get away with kind of splitting the game in two. Either way, I'm hoping for the best. I saw the day of the Game Awards, I saw a thing on Twitter, people were like, oh, you can buy a $250, like the most expensive edition of the game, you can already pre-order it. It's pretty cool though. You get a statue of an ultramarine, a Primaris ultramarine, holding looks like a termagant by the neck, and then he's got a chainsword in the other, and it's kind of waist high in a pool of blood and gore. And with all that, it looks cool. And I showed my friend who got into Darktide and recently really got into 40K, different from the other friend who I talked about last time. This is a different one. And I showed it to him. He's like, oh, where can you pre-order this? I said, oh, it's on Focus Home Entertainment's website. 2 minutes later, I get another message on Discord. Okay, I pre-ordered it. I was like, really? He was like, yeah. I've gotten really into 40K lately thanks to Darktide. So I figured, why not? I have the money. I'm like, yeah. Even though I want it, I'm still like, that's a lot of money for just essentially the resin statue, it's like Chosen of Macragge DLC, which I assume is just a cosmetic pack. It wasn't honestly a lot being offered. And while I don't have a problem with that, I don't have a problem with it, but I also kind of do have a problem with it because you're still asking for $250. As simple as that. No resin statue is worth that much. And honestly, a lot of these special editions for games that have been coming out over the years, they've gotten worse. I remember Borderlands 2, they had the loot box edition with the big treasure chest and all of that. I wanted that. I thought the chest was the coolest thing. Or there was Black Ops 4 had the mystery box edition. That would have been cool, because that mystery box actually looked really cool with all like the warped and fused people together, and those were cool. The Juggernog edition with the little mini fridge, though, I've heard mixed things about the mini fridge itself. There are ones like that where I'm like, okay, that's worthwhile. Or the Black Ops 1 version where you got the RCXD, the Black Ops 2 version where you got the Dragonfly quadcopter drone. Those I'm a little more understanding of because there's some cool stuff. Can't remember which one it was, but there was a version. I think it was Modern Warfare 2019, where they had NVGs that went with it, but they were essentially just cheapo beepo quad nods. And I thought, well, why would, if you're buying the super fancy operator style quad can like night vision, those are expensive. If you're getting them with a video game collector's edition, you're getting some cheap ass nods. Those are put on like a mannequin head and have as a display thing, which I guess that's kind of the point, but still didn't vibe with them. The other stuff like Call of Duty has done has been pretty cool though. I'll give credit where credit is due. But a lot of times these things aren't that good, and they're very overpriced. Oh, we're getting close to the end. Ooh, that's gonna hurt. Not looking forward to that one at all. Upside though? Okay, that's still gonna suck. What about this one? Okay, so all these end missions are gonna be awful. There's no two ways around it, but everything else is unlocked, so this will be the toughest mission. Not looking forward to it, but I've done far worse.
The enemies of the infinite, and such a vast threat can only be fought with ingenuity. Kill the masters, and you will render a sea of vermin helpless.
Man, I just loathe fighting Eldar. Just because I hate their tanks. That said, which would I rather deal with? A fire prism or some stupid chaos sorcerer who clones himself 4 times and then starts throwing triple grenades from every shadow clone? I would rather begrudgingly put up with the tank. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it's not fun. But at least I'm not looking at the enemy and him being like, haha, suppression gone! And suddenly 15 grenades come raining in and I'm knocked on my ass. I think one more thing for the Arcs of Ruin, or Arcs of Omen? Whatever it is, that came out. Essentially hammering home the whole, hey, it's gonna, the one host one with the blades and whatever, it's gonna be Khorne demons. It's gonna be most likely Angron and the World Eaters. Nothing really new or shocking there. Like I've said before, the thing I'm most interested in is Vashtor. I think he will be the most interesting mix-up of the situation because he's a chaos demigod. Hopefully we get some good both lore and just gameplay stuff coming in for it. I gotta say, I kind of regret going heretic in this build because the flame boosts, you get like a 55% heat bonus if you play as a I can't even think of the word. I want to say purist, but that's not it. But an Inquisitor that's very righteous. I can't remember the proper term off the top of my head. I'm drawing a blank trying not to die. But their damage boost is just too good. I feel like they need to really rework how the heretical build goes because it's not good. Yeah, you can get a couple neat things, and I mostly did it just to try to score Demon Forge gear. But in general, the perks, we'll look at the perks quick. The radical path, yeah, radical or Puritan, that's what it is. Warp damage bonus, lose warp resistance. Okay, if I'm building entirely warp, sure, I can get some value out of that. Chance to 3% chance to reflect warp damage attacks back to the attacker. Ooh, 3%. 25% chance for incoming warp damage to heal instead of do damage. Useful, but it depends on if I'm taking warp damage. Experience. It's a good... 15% is a good amount of XP, but I will eventually have to respec this tree and unlearn that because it's a wasted point. 10% or 10 critical hit strength on kill stacks until critical hit. I can literally get crap like that from the critical hit tree. 5% bonus damage for missing HP. Not that useful, realistically. 5% warp damage bonus and all damage is converted to warp. I don't know if that is counted for the healing or not. If it is, cool, I can boost my survivability. If not, it's garbage. Puritan Path. 5% against Chaos and Dark Eldar. Flat damage boost, cool. 30% of warp damage taken is reflected. Flat reflection. 20% damage against demons and demon engines. More damage. warp resistance and 5% bonus damage on taking warp damage. That's pretty good. 20% HP and suppression regen per second for 5 seconds after killing a demon. So you get 100% regen total if you kill a demon. 4% max HP and 2% damage bonus to you and nearby allies. Not really worth it. Minus 5% damage dealt by Chaos and Dark Eldar enemies. That's all useful, and that's not even including the actual morality bonuses. Puritan builds are so much better. It's just kind of annoying. Or no, it's not under that, it's under the perks. Can't look at them right now, but the Puritan one, it gives you a shield for free. The fact you don't get that as a radical is stupid. It should have been very close to mirror just because it needs to be. Otherwise, it's so horribly imbalanced, there isn't a justification to building this way. I'm actively at a disadvantage. Because I can guarantee if I had the Puritan stuff, I would be even more effective. I'd be even more deadly. And that's what sucks. I don't like ripping into this game, because it is a fun game, but they really screwed up recently with the Sororitas, and looking at some of the other stuff that's happened over time, like with the balancing of these classes or these morality rewards, it's hard to look at them and be like, oh yeah, this is totally fine. It's like, no, these suck. We got screwed. Good thing the AI decided to disengage so I can just farm shield off it.
No pity.
But just not a big fan of how I don't see as many advantages with the radical build. Oh, I was playing Darktide. I have to set up a new desk before I start recording anything. I have a different desk finally, I should be able to work with eventually. I just have to get around to setting it up. But I was playing that no one messes with demon hosts. Every time I will go into a level 2 difficulty mission with all level 30 guys, and someone will just ping it and everyone's like, nah. We just all walk around it. And I just find that really amusing, that even when we're max level, everybody's just like, I'm not really feeling like messing with this fight. Understandably so. They're really tough. They'll target someone at random, which makes fighting them really annoying and really difficult. And they just kind of suck. I don't even know if we get a bonus reward or something. They probably should give players an extra reward just to incentivize it. And I had to laugh. We were supposed to get a bunch of stuff in an update, and I think half the new stuff just didn't come out because of issues. We were supposed to get some weapon, some like power hammer, and I don't think that came out. It was either that or the other maul for the Ogren. It was supposed to come out, and they just were like, oh yeah, we screwed up. It's like, okay. Why did you screw up, and how did you... Like, they already delayed the update by a day, and then screwed up further. And I'm sitting there thinking, at that point, you should have just said, no, we're delaying this further until it's all ready. Because otherwise, it's half an update. People already have enough problems with how the game's progression is garbage. And I said it before, I still think it's absolute trash. The progression isn't fun. Waiting on a shop is not an interesting mechanic. It's just tedious. The fact the currencies are not shared is annoying. That's part of the reason, as much as I want to play my Ogren or start a new character, I don't want to. Because I know that I would have to start all over farming up my weekly stuff and all the plasteel and diamantine or diamantite, and I don't want to. It's slow enough doing it. Apparently people have been sitting around to actually progress with gear. People are buying white gear and then just ranking it up all the way to orange. And like, yeah, it's like the only way to get orange gear at a decent rate. And even then it still takes forever. And I was just sitting there like, really? That is the depths to which we've had to go? Just for the hope of getting gear? Which I understand. Yeah, wow, I died instantly. Cool. That's annoying. This is why I hate Eldar tanks. Just slip and slide, and oh, I will keep evading. But you have... I looked at the weekly reward stuff, and it's like, oh, you can get a random piece of gear for 250 of the weekly currency. It's a scam. I bought a white weapon. That's what I got. I got a white plasma gun. Which, admittedly, some people were saying they didn't find a bolter or a bolt gun on their veteran marksman until they hit, like, max rank. Which is really stupid. That the store is that wishy-washy. You can go a good number of hours without finding one weapon. Or one weapon type. And people have said, you know, I'll get a dozen knives, but I can't get a chainsword. People have said, oh, why not just make it so you can submit a request and then the game will be like, okay, well, in 2 to 5 missions, we will present you with like 3 power swords. And you can pick which one of those you want. Or just different ways of getting loot, and there definitely are better methods. I've seen a lot of people were saying the game was supposed to launch. We were told it was going to launch with like 70 weapons. And I'm like, yeah, there isn't 70 weapons. I don't even think realistically there's 35. Unless they really want to sit around and count the bolt gun for the preacher and the bolt gun for the marksman as 2 separate weapons, which wouldn't shock me. I've seen too many games pull that kind of crap that it's like, yeah, I'm just not shocked. I do hope the game gets better, though. honestly, for everyone's sake. Because the devs are going to get an undue amount of shit for it. Because yes, to a degree, they do deserve to get some of the shit they got coming. To a degree, you are being held accountable for putting out a subpar game. But some people go too far. And that's the problem. And devs should be held accountable to making bad games or subpar deliveries because it's their job. You order a pepperoni pizza and I give you half a pizza that's sausage and the other half just isn't anything. I should be held responsible for that. I didn't give you what you wanted. I know using food as a analogy is always a very low end kind of, not a bad argument, but it's just kind of half-assed. But it's also the best analogies to come up with, since it's, hey, you were promised thing, instead of thing, you got other thing. And we've all experienced it. Everybody's gone to a place, ordered food, and then got the wrong thing. It sucks. Now, do you hop the counter and start backhanding everyone in the McDonald's? No. You go in and be like, hey, I ordered this, here's my receipt. This isn't the thing. They go, oh, sorry, here you go. Because that's how, mature adults handle things. Oh, just thinking about Game Awards. We also had an announcement for Remnant from the Ashes 2. I'm excited for that. The environments are a little worrying. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. There was one that was essentially just Yharnam from Bloodborne. Full-on gothic horror, dude with a chain, like a circular saw attacking you while you have like an M240. And I was sitting there looking at it thinking, this kind of looks like butt cheeks. I'm excited for the game, I just don't like that environment. Because every other environment in Remnant 1 felt really good. You had Earth, you had the one place that was overtaken by... There was like a post-apocalyptic society with radiation everywhere. And the remaining people are all mutated, like savage cultist people. You had the swamps of Corsus, you had... God, every location felt good. Because it wasn't just, it's a different, like, alternate Earth kind of thing. Whoa, isn't that wacky? It was believable with this setting. And then just, here's Discount Yharnam. You like Bloodborne? Like, it's kind of half-assed. And it could be really good. I don't like being negative. It's just kind of a natural impulse for me. Years and years of games failing to deliver on what I hope has left me incredibly jaded and skeptical of every product, and the industry as of late has done nothing to assuage my fears and my anxieties. But I hope it's good. I'd love for a new game. I thought Remnant 1 was really fun. It showed you could do a Souls game with firearms and not make it crap. I hope the guys behind The Surge make another one. I'd like to see The Surge 3 and really learn from, like, Elden Ring. More open world. Honestly, that's about it. And I played The Surge 1, and they really need... I don't know if they fixed the control mapping in The Surge 2, but The Surge 1's control mapping was awful. It felt so clunky and weird. So I hope they fix that. But I'd like that. But the other thing I saw at Game Awards was Armored Core 6. I've played AC4, AC4 for Answer, and then AC5. So I'm excited. I love Armored Core games. They're really in-depth, but I just love mech games in general. That's why I like Mech Warrior. That's why I like Gundam, though I'm really picky on Gundam games. That's why I loved Armored Core. Having to sit and balance heat and my power and shields and my mobility and all of that, it was cool. I didn't like 5's insane movement. I prefer my mechs a little more sluggish. But 6 seems to be like a reboot, or not necessarily a reboot, but kind of a story reset, which I'm cool with. I was never really too attached. The story was just kind of there in my eyes. The mechs were the whole kind of focus of the show, so I'm hoping for the best there.
Aimlessly until it withers and dies.
Let's bonk this dude. Those are the only real things I noticed at the Game Awards were Space Marine, AC6, and Remnant. Everything else was kind of meh. Some stuff I was just kind of groaning and pretty much pleading, God, please kill me, because it was just so boring. And some stuff I just didn't care for. I wasn't sitting here all grumpy like, oh, why don't they cater to me? It was just like, okay, whatever, moving on. Alright, let's check what we got for loot quick, because we got some stuff here. Yeah, that Neuralis Psalm, that's going to be nice. Sword's not going to be interesting. Yeah, that's not too interesting, but that's fine. Hey, another intel to put in my copious stacks of intel. But I'm happy about that Neuralis Psalm. That makes that whole run worthwhile. We'll just mulch down everything else. And that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.